Religiously, understand the 7 principles of hell. You'll understand the 7 demons within you. You'll understand that whole concept. It's a whole metaphysical concept. We ain't go over that, but anyway.
Hey, what up, everybody? I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble evening. Continue to have
Hey, what up, everybody? I hope all y'all.
Damn, this John came out loud. I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble night. Continue to have a blessed and humble day. Yo, listen, let me welcome all of y'all to the Writers for Life brings you the Let's Talk About It podcast, y'all. Man, as y'all can see, today's topic, we are the watchers now. Every headline is a warning, all right? And before we dive into today's truth, I need you to remember something. We are the echo of those who endured. Our ancestors survived chains, borders, betrayal, and silence. They didn't just live, they resisted. They didn't just suffer, they strategized. So when we speak today, we speak with their fire. We speak to awaken, not to entertain. We speak to reclaim what's been buried under concrete, corruption, inconvenience. Let's get into it. All right. Today we're gonna be talking about, Philly's potholes repairs, right? A Chuck E. Cheese arrest, innocence erupted. All right. Police officer filming minors, right? Who protects us from the protectors, right? Flisky drug epidemic, manufactured despair. All right. SEPTA cuts and fare hikes, mobility as a privilege. Flesh-eating bacteria in Florida, environmental neglect. Mother charged with cruelty, systemic starvation. All right. Blessings, Ashley, Lindsay. Welcome to the live. All right. So we're gonna be speaking on those 7 topics. All right. And as the live goes through, y'all gonna see why I named the title today. We are the watchers now. All right. It has been so much going on. Like I told y'all yesterday and today, I was gonna be covering the news, right? Not just from Philly, man, because we from Philly, baby. All right. We're gonna be, covering from other, cities, states, counties, much more. All right. So we got 7 topics today that we're gonna, review, react, right? I'm going to ask y'all some mind-provoking questions. I always got to have a message for some of my videos. I've been doing that lately, all right? But before we get into all of that, right, let's leave a little message of awareness and ancestral reckoning, right? Tonight, I need you to sit with this, all right? Not scroll past it, right? Not numb it out, not laugh it off. Sit with it. Because we're witnessing, right? Because what we're witnessing isn't just dysfunction, is a pattern of neglect, exploitation, and silence, right? From Philly's broken streets to broken systems that let predators wear badges, from children watching Chuck E. Cheese, right, get cuffed up, to other children being filmed in secret from a drug called Blisky creeping through Pittsburgh like a ghost of despair, to SEPTA telling the working class to stay put while charging them more to move less. From bacteria eating flesh in Florida's waters to a boy weighing 49 pounds because no one showed up in time. This isn't random. This is systemic. I hate when I can't pronounce a word. And while the headlines shock us, our ancestors wouldn't be surprised. They knew what it meant to be ignored. They knew what it meant to be watched, right? But never protected. They knew what it meant to be poisoned, policed, and priced out of survival. But they also knew how to resist, how to organize, how to love each other fiercely in the face of cruelty. So when we speak on these stories, we're not just raising awareness, we're rising the dead, all right? We're calling on the wisdom of those who built roads, who with no recognition, right? Who fed with no food, who healed wounds with no medicine. We are the watchers now, the ones who see through the illusion, the ones who refuse to let these stories fade into the next cycle, all right? Let this be a reminder. Every pothole, every arrest, every cut, every sickness, every silence is a call to protect our children, to demand accountability, to reclaim our spaces, and to honor those who came before us by refusing to accept less. We are not powerless. We are the legacy, and we will not be quiet. All right, so I hope that y'all enjoys today's stream. All right, I would love to hear y'all input, whether it's in the chat, all right, or in the comments down below from those of you that catch, the replay. We're gonna start off right with Philadelphia streets. All right, Philadelphia streets are scared. All right, and not just by potholes. Right, they're scared by neglect, by systems that watch problems instead of solving. So let me get rid of the thumbnail. Let me get rid of that. All right. And we're going to get this podcast started. All right. Y'all more than welcome to have a conversation with a shorty down below. All right. Please keep it respectful. Please respect the people in the chat. Please respect any guests. Please respect the host. All right. I would highly appreciate that. I don't mind the jokes. I don't mind none of that stuff. But we do mind the disrespect. The disrespect will get you blocked. All right. So let's get started. All right. Philly's pothole repair claims are seemingly full of holes. All right. So before we press play, I want to ask y'all one question. Why does it take public outrage for basic repairs to happen?
Take a look at this over here. It's now a filled pothole, but it took more than a month for the streets department to come out and fill it after it was reported to 311. We found it's not an isolated incident. There's similar instances to this throughout the city, and our investigation found that the city's data on this issue may have as many holes in it as the roads.
Oh, shit.
Yvette Smith takes pride in her West Philadelphia neighborhood. That's why she called 311 twice, requesting the city to come fill this pothole.
Somebody's either going to step in it and get hurt, or somebody's going to bust their tire.
Yvette isn't the only one worried about them. 311 received more than 5,800 requests for service for pothole repairs in the first 6 months of the year. By early July, we found that about half of those reports are still marked open. According to the Streets Department Chief of Staff, Michelle Brisbane, once someone puts in a request to 311, a streets inspector goes to look at it and determine if it is a pothole. Then it's scheduled to be filled.
If they determine that it's a pothole, then they're going to create a work order.
The city's goal, listed on its website, is to repair potholes within 3 days, 90% of the time.
The work order will get sent to the highway yard, and then the yard will dispatch a crew, like similar to what you see here, and they'll go out and fill the pothole.
Okay. And so that's within the three days?
Yes. According to the most recent city manager's report, 93% are filled within Philly's 3-day deadline. We asked if we could see how the city came up with those numbers.
You would have to do a right to know request.
So we put in a public records request asking for work orders for all potholes filled since 2023. A month and a half later, the city denied our request, saying in part, it wasn't specific enough. Not having the information means we can't analyze it to see if the city is actually reaching its goal. The public is left with self-reporting from the city and 311 data. The NBC 10 investigators' analysis of 311 data found that less than 12% of pothole requests were closed 3 days after they were reported. The 311 data doesn't say when work orders were created, but it does give estimates for when the reported potholes will be filled, ranging from 3 to 60 business days.
Whoa, that's crazy. So with her saying that, who decides which neighborhoods get fixed first and which ones stay broken? Why do I say that? I say that because I'm in North Philadelphia and I am in the HP section of North Philadelphia. And the potholes on this area are getting fixed, right? The sidewalks, the sewers are getting fixed, right? I do know that certain parts of South Philly is getting fixed. I know certain parts of towards Juniata are getting fixed, right? So let me tell y'all this, right? As a block captain, right? As a leader of my community here in my section, right? I do know that when it comes to like the potholes and stuff like that, right, guys? I'm not sure where you're from and where you're watching from, all right? But once again, I'm in North Philadelphia and I am one of the block captains here, right? To get them potholes fixed, right, it does take an order from a judge, all right? And what's crazy is, right, right now, a lot of things have been canceled, from constructions on the road to fixing certain establishments to the funds to the schools, the funds to SEPTA, much more. In a future video, I mean, in a little bit, I'm gonna show y'all a video from SEPTA, right, and what they're saying. But you know, it's so much going on, and they're saying allegedly that they don't have enough funds. There's so many projects put on hold. But one thing that I can sit here and say, right, if you are a leader of your community, you can grab a petition, make a petition, right? I think they should have one. I forgot where you can go to get them, but you can also make them yourself, right? And take this petition to City Hall, right? You can go to one of the city hall meetings that they be having over there, right? And also, you know, put in your concerns. All right, go to town, put in them concerns. I don't know why the fuck I can't get my words out right now, right? But yeah, Commonwealth is a little more judicial, right? And what's crazy is, right, and I say that because in order for me to get the alleyways clean, right, in my neighborhood, I have to get a petition filled, and every neighbor has to sign that petition. Then I have to send it to the person that's in charge of cleaning the block, right? The person in charge of making Philadelphia more beautiful, right? They will take that to a judge. The judge would say, yes, I allow this to happen. We do have the funds to get this done. Boom, clip comes, clip will clean out the alleyways, take out the trees, you know, but you are in charge of cleaning your backyard. You see where I'm coming from? The clip will come and clean all that shit out and take that trash, right? The same way that when it's time for us to clean the block, right? And they automatically got that, you know, clean the block. I think you do that. I think it's 3 times during the summer, right? That they give you supplies and stuff. They don't give you a lot of supplies. They give you a little bit of supplies because they want everybody to pitch in, right? And that's something that I'm trying to get everybody used to, but a lot of people are still hard-headed on that shit, right? But as citizens, we are able to do these things, right? We make the complaints, boom, boom, boom. And, you know, once it gets to a judge will get off his ass and do what they got to do, right? And especially if you got a good judge, all right? Now, I know tomorrow's review and reaction is going to be involving a court case, right? And another one, I mean, it's going to be tomorrow. Let's put it like this. Tomorrow's reviews and reactions are going to be more of like, you know, crimes caught on police cam and people doing stupid shit when they're in front of judges. But my whole point is, right, that these things could be done. But for some reason, people find excuses. All right, they want to call the news. The news, all they're going to do is make this go viral, and in reality, nothing's going to happen. People need to come together and voice their opinions in the places that they need to be voiced in. All right, this helps. You see where I'm coming from? But once it's like faded out from the news, what is you going to do? Because people think, oh, let me go to the news, say this, and, you know, oh, we're going to let it go and wait for a sky daddy to drop from the sky and come and save us. It don't work like that. We need to really start using our noggins.
There's another wrench in the 311 data.
It's still remaining as potholes when in fact they're not potholes.
That's right. Not every hole in the road is considered a pothole, so they might not fall under the 3-day deadline.
It was a cave in, or was it a depression or something?
Brisbane also tells us not all pothole complaints come through 311. She says most are discovered by streets department employees. Those too would fall within the 3-day deadline. With the lack of cooperation from the city, in early June, the NBC 10 investigators decided to do a small test of our own. On June 9th, we identified pothole complaints made through the weekend and chose 3 locations to check out. One was in front of Yvette's house in West Philly, one in Fairmount, and one in Somerset. That's where we met Steve Dennis.
I almost got sideswiped when 2 cars were actually going, coming up and down the street.
All of these potholes had an expected closure date of June 12th. When we went back to check that day, only the one in Fairmount had been filled. 4 days later, and past the city's own deadline, the one in Somerset was fixed. We just happened to be there that day, speaking with Steve.
Could have been a little sooner, but I mean, all said and done, they came, they solved, and we'll see what happens on the next one.
We kept checking the other location day after day, week after week. Some of that time overlapped with the 8-day District Council 33 worker strike. In the end, it took 39 days to get the one in West Philadelphia filled. We've asked the city if it considers these to be official potholes. No one has replied.
And Brisbane from the Streets Department tells us that the investigators are working to fix the 311 data. Now, if your car has been damaged in a Philadelphia street due to a pothole, you may be able to be compensated. You have to file a claim with the city. You can find that on our website on NBC10.com/.
Why in the world is this woman walking by? Like, she's walking around. Like, do you got something up your ass? Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but like, you're like going from side to side, moving your waist. Like, if you had something up your ass or something, like you walking around like you Slender Man or Stick Man. And I don't know if any of y'all watched that movie Stick Man, but that's how the hell she's walking around. On some real shit, yo, man. I didn't mean, like, I don't know why I just said that random thought out loud like that, but shit. Like, all right, what does it say about a city when its roads reflect its priorities? What does it say? And it's showing, like, you know, it's crazy, right? We're supposed to be paying taxes. And this is a question that's constantly asked. Where do these taxes go, right? What are they doing with these taxes? Like, how come we don't have enough funds to fund the things that are necessary within our cities, but we have funds to sit here and make parties for the 4th of July, pagan holidays, and much more? Like, this shit is crazy. Gary says, would you get in trouble if you fill the pothole yourself? Yeah. You're not supposed to. But people have done it. I'm not going to sit here and lie, and the city hasn't noticed. So that's a good question. On some real shit. That's a good question. I've seen people do it, and nothing has happened to them, though. And that's because nobody snitched. Like, and you're not supposed to, like, shit. You want to get shit done, get it done. But on some real shit, like, I feel as though we need to push, right? We need to push for public transparency. All right? What I mean? Demand a pothole accountability, man. Organized community reporting networks. I mean, I'm just trying to put solutions out here. You see where I'm coming from? Like, we need an ancestral reminder, right? Our ancestors built roads with their hands, laid bricks, poured concrete, and paved pathways. They were never allowed to walk freely. We owe it to them to demand better roads and better respect. All right? It's called speak. All right? They fought so hard, all right, for us to become free slaves. All right? Y'all think we're fully free. We're not. All right? They just let us roam around free. They gave us jobs to cover up what the plantation was. All right? We get better pays now. You see where I'm coming from? Now they got this attached to us to know where the fuck we at every move. You see where I'm coming from? I mean, I could just keep going. All right? But they did what they had to. They spoke up when they did. When they took them fucking lashes for speaking up. They sacrificed their lives for speaking up. All right? Let me put it like that. Since everybody want to say, well, I'm fighting for my ancestors. Well, then show it. Don't just talk it. Show it. Fuck wrong with everybody? Oh shit, we got the beautiful Selena in the building. Big shout out to Selena, guys. Make sure you go check out Selena. Great conversations, great topics, yo. And she also does some of the greatest interviews. Yeah, I'm gonna say greatest interviews, yo, because you gotta give it to Selena. All right. Like, yo, the way she do her interviews is different from what a lot of people try to do. Like, she's respectful, all right, and much more. Listen, it's hard to break it down. You just have to go watch it for yourself. What just happened? Hold on, what's going on? Let me out. Dude.
New details into the arrest of Chuck E. Cheese, or at least the man who was dressed up as
Where
one.
the fuck is the pastor? My computer is possessed. Hold up, wait a minute. Give me a second. Hold, wait. I'm not even Santa Claus. There you go. You want some weed? Like shit, laptop. Dell, you need some Mary Jane? Because I'm not gonna sit here and fight you. Like I will go get the priest to get the Holy Ghost out of you. All right, we ain't doing this tonight. All right, you're gonna do as you're told. You're the machine, I'm the human. You follow commands. All right, I'm the boss. Now play nice and don't be all possessed. All right, because now you're gonna creep me out and I'll throw you out the window on some real shit. Relax. You've been with me. How long has it been? 7 years. Good girl. Good girl. Sorry, no, you've been with me 4 years. Good girl. Yeah, man, this fucking laptop want to be possessed and shit. Not right now. All right, wait. Let me get into my next topic. All right, let's hit Chuck E. Cheese, man. Like shit. What's wrong? There we go. All right, now that I got my possessed computer under control, all right, do what you're told. All right, don't discombobulate on me. All right. I think you're going through some depression. You need a break, right? Let me give you a hug. Yeah, computer. Shit. Lord have mercy on my laptop, yo. You know what? It's time for me to get this damn graphics card for my tower. That's it. I need a graphics card. My old graphics card got messed up. I just need to hurry up and rip this shit up. I got this. That just means I need to go put boots on the ground and go get some, I need to sling some shirts. Riders for life, Sweetwoods, riders for life. Shit, I ain't got nicks, but I got clothes. Shit. Got me fucked up. Listen, I tell people that listen, I will not sell my ass. I might sell some weed. I can grow that shit. But no, I got kids. I can't do that. No, go sell some clothes. I will not sell my ass. That's a big no-no. Ain't no Cardi B over here. But let's get right into Chuck E. Cheese, all right? Let's get right into Chuck E. Cheese, man. This shit is crazy. All right. We got Chuck E. Cheese arrest. Innocence interrupted. A child's joy was shattered when a beloved character was cuffed in front of him. But the deeper question is, what are we watching? What are we watching? What are we teaching our kids? What are we teaching our kids about justice, right? Spectacle and trauma, all right? How do we protect childhood innocence in a world that constantly disrupts it? I want y'all to check this clip out.
New details into the arrest of Chuck E. Cheese, or at least the man who was dressed up as one. It happened at a restaurant in Tallahassee.
But a family from the Villages witnessed the entire thing while on vacation. As Fox 35's Randy Hildreth found out, it was a visit the kids will likely never forget.
Chuck E. Cheese got arrested.
It's been the talk of the Gegenheimer family for the last few days.
Like asking 100 questions of like, does this mean Chucky's gone forever? Like, what now?
The Central Florida family was snapped in the back of this now viral photo of Chuck E. Cheese getting arrested at a town.
Look at that. What did Chucky do to get arrested? We're about to find out. Damn, Chucky, you just went and ruined the dreams of many kids. Shame on you.
Tallahassee location. The family had just gotten in town to visit grandma. 4-year-old Lizzie says she was nearly ready to help Mr. Cheese.
But if they wanted to get arrested either. She's gonna go help us. Then she saw the police and
Mom says Lizzie had just taken a picture with the character, and 6-year-old Jenny was about to take one when police walked over.
Damn, man. Little shorty said, man, I'm going to jail to save Chucky. Shit, she didn't even know what Chucky was doing. The mind of the innocence, yo, I'm telling you.
I was in the midst of pushing Jenny towards Chucky. The cop grabbed one wrist and another one grabbed the other wrist, put it behind his back, told him not to resist. And at the same time, I'm pulling my kids away. Like, what's going on in the midst of this?
According to the arrest affidavit, the man in the costume was Jermel Jones. He was arrested for credit card fraud. Police say he worked at the arcade and racked up a little over $100 in charges on a card left by a customer. Gegenheimer thinks he slipped on the costume to hide from police. She's glad he was caught, but wish he hadn't been arrested in front of the kids.
When they had him at the truck, they took off his head and put it on top of the SUV truck. So then we went into it's kind of like, Chucky's got a lot of friends who help him so he can get to all the Chuck E. Cheese places at once. Like,
I can't with this, mom. Yo, you still trying to lie to your child after they saw the man under the mask? Like, you gonna continue to lie? Like, Santa Claus is real. Go ahead. Come on, little son. Come on, little daughter. Come on, little Emily, little Ricky. Go sit in that fat man's lap and take a picture for mama. Sure. Would y'all believe me if I was to tell you that my daughter never sat on Santa's lap? And I dare anybody to try to tell my daughter to sit on Santa's lap, I will fucking pistol whip the shit out somebody on some real shit. Tell my child to sit on Santa's lap. Man, my kids know the tooth fairy ain't real. I'm the tooth fairy. Give me that tooth. I'm making a chain out of that shit. I don't care if they make me look like a bruja. Yes, call me a witch. Yes, I don't give a fuck. Like, what the hell is going on? Tell your kids the truth. Like, yo, I gotta ask the question, like, are we desensitizing our youth to violence and humiliation? Why can't we be real with our kids? Like, she continued to, she really said that Chucky got a whole bunch of friends that help him so he can get the show done. But you would have came out better saying he had clones. Yo, wait a minute. Like, let me give a little solution oriented thought, right? Can we create safe spaces for children to process, right, public incidents, like advocate for trauma informed responses in public arrest? Like, these officers were assholes on some real shit. They could have told Chuck. I mean, I guess they didn't want to chase the dude. They knew that if they didn't grab him right there, they would have had to chase them. So these officers was like, fuck it, we're gonna ruin the dreams of many children today. Let them know that this goddamn little mascot ain't a real mascot. He's not a real mouse. He's not a real rat. It's a man underneath the costume. Like, yo, man, look, listen, I know a lot of y'all want to believe in the fairy tale dream, right? Shit, I still believe in fairy tales, but like, not in reality. Like, it's hard to explain it. Like, I love fairy tales. I love watching Snow White, Beauty and the Beast, and I'm 35 years old. I still love watching Disney movies, Nickelodeon movies. Yes, I still do. But even I see why a lot of people was real with me since I was yay high, yo, for real. Like, this shit is wild. Like, why we keep lying to these kids?
Like, trying to manage the truck they took off his head and put it on top of the SUV truck. So then we went into it's kind of like, you know, Chucky's got a lot of friends who help him so he can go to all the Chuck E. Cheese places at once. It's like trying to manage the magic still while.
Did you manage the magic still while you were telling the story in front of your two little girls? What's the difference now from earlier when Chucky got arrested and saw, they saw that it was a man underneath the mask? You're telling the story now and they're right there with you and you broke the magic all over again. What a mom. What the fuck?
We're watching now the man get undressed out of the costume outside.
Police say Jones still had the stolen credit card on him, along with a small amount of marijuana. He's accused of committing the same crime 6 months ago.
Oh, shit.
Randy Hildreth, Fox 35 News.
A Delaware County.
Yo, I can't, man. Can these criminals get any dumber? Like, am I tripping? Like, yo, wait a minute, my scalp hurts. Like, I swear our ancestors, right? They shielded their children from slave auctions, right? Lynching and raise. They whispered lullabies and chaos. We must continue that protection mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. All right. Listen. They made the Llorona, right? Listen, I was having a conversation the other day with somebody, right? And I was like, in my head, right? And I was thinking in my head, but the question came out loud, right? And I'm sitting here, I was like, I just want to know, why is it that, why is it that these myths, these fairy tales, right? A lot of people think that it's true. Like, when you see the real ones, they think it's fake, right? But when you're reading fake ones, they think they're real. So I'm just a little curious. Like, even with the Bible, it's the same shit. Like, did they make these stories like the Bible and much more like to protect us from whatever the reality is out there, and we continue the same cycle? I mean, we have to, like, on some real shit. I mean, I guess they found a way for kids to be kids. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. That's the crazy part. Because they did. They shielded a lot of their children from all that, right? And I wonder if those lullabies and those whispers, right, is what transformed into these conspiracy theories, these myths, these storytellings, and much more. It was like a way to ease. But this bitch just ruined the magic in front of the kids, though, if it's like that. Like, Pete, like, yo, listen to what I said carefully. Our ancestors shielded their children from slaves, right? From slave auctions, lynchings, and raids. They whispered lullabies and chaos, right? We must continue that protection mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, all right? How do we protect our kids, right, from seeing these things? It's impossible, especially when we live in a world of social media, unless as parents, right, we start taking away the internet from our kids if they're under the age of 16 and stuff like that, right? And we start implementing more rules in the house, become more stricter. But will that work? Because back then, when they try to become stricter, right, the kids went to the streets. The kids lashed back out. So how do we make this work, this function within our communities, within our homes? You see where I'm coming from? Because we got our kids living and believing, right, that the Tooth Fairy is real, that Chuck E. Cheese is real. Some of these kids figure it out on their own. It's the crazy part, right? That these are nothing more than just stories being told to them, right? But should we tell our kids the truth? Or should we find ways? But see, when they see the news and they watch the movies and they watch these shows, right? They listen to the music, it's a complete different story. So how did our ancestors find a way, right, through whispers of lullaby and chaos, right, to continue protecting the kids that they was able to protect, even though they wasn't able to protect every children? It's kind of like what's happening now. It's crazy, right? And yes, I'm talking like this, and I'm using the past right now, right, to show y'all, right, how they was able to do things that we're scared to do now. Our ancestors, we talk so much about them, right, saying we're honoring them in everything we're doing. I'm not going to say we, I'm going to say people, right? People say that they're honoring the ancestors, right, and everything they do, right, by doing what they're doing. But how is we honoring them by doing what they're doing when we're doing the complete opposite in reality? Let's make it make sense. We got SBK in the building. Blessings, SBK. Big shout out to SBK. Yo, let me take a minute before we hit the next topic, right, to say thank you, and I appreciate you. I appreciate those that are becoming members, right, to the channel, those that are sharing a Shorty's lives and her videos, right? Because YouTube tells you, right, like, how many times your videos were shared, and stuff like that. Like, I really appreciate y'all, man. Like, if y'all want to smash the like button because y'all enjoyed the stream, or y'all enjoying the stream, y'all more than welcome. It's right there, man. Y'all got, But in reality, sharing my videos helps me a lot more. So I appreciate those that do share it, those that are becoming members, those that, have sat here and super chatted a Shorty to help the channel out, those that have sent super chats and stuff like that. I really appreciate y'all's support. I want to remind y'all that we also, right, another way to support a Shorty is by purchasing our merchandise, which if you DM a Shorty, right, We could talk about how y'all can get Writers for Life hooded, right? With the hashtag, rest in peace predators, right? We got the regular logos. These the new ones right here. We got the joggers and much more. All right, guys. So those are also other ways that y'all can support a shorty. I just wanted to get that out the way. Let me get these joggers the hell out the way. Wait, no, man. Get the jogger out the way. There you go. All right. So I appreciate all those out there that are supporting a shorty. All right. So like I told y'all, when y'all share the videos, it helps a shorty out much more. So I really do appreciate that. And listen, when y'all smash that like button, there's nothing more than just a plus. All right. But let's move on to the next topic, man. I would like to hear y'all comments and y'all inputs, whether it's in the chat, right, conversing with a shorty, or in the comments down below, from those that are catching the replay. But let's move on to the next topic, all right? We just went from, innocence interrupted by Chuck E. Cheese getting arrested in front of children to police officers filming minors. Who protects us from the protectors? All right. What's crazy is when those sworn to protect become predators, the system is not broken, right? That's what they say. The system is not broken. Well, it isn't. It isn't. It really isn't. But it's functioning exactly as it was designed, right? Let me put it like this. How many more violations must happen before reform becomes revolution? All right. And let me say this, right? What's crazy is that the system isn't broken, right? When those sworn to protect become predators, the system is not broken. It's functioning exactly as it was designed. All right. The crazy part about it is, right? How I said, it's not broken. It's functioning exactly as it was designed. But what? When those sworn to protect become predators, the issues that we're having is, right, not with the system, but the people running the system within. That's the issue that we're having. And that's why when I put questions out there, right, those mind-provoking questions that I asked to poke around in your head, right, to get y'all to start thinking, right, I asked them because in reality, these are the questions that we need to be aiming at the legislators, Congress, council, all of them. All right. Y'all keep forgetting it's the president, the legislator, and then what? The judicial system. The judicial system. Okay, let me say it like that. All right. And with that being said, let's get right into this video.
County police officer is facing charges accused of taking videos and pictures of underage girls at a YMCA in East Goshen Township. He has been placed on administrative leave tonight pending the outcome of an investigation. It is Friday night. I'm Christy Aletto. Shari and Gray have the night off. The big story on Action News is the arrest of a part-time Millburn Borough police officer. Investigators say there are at least 11 young victims. Action News reporter Sharifa Jackson joins us live from East Goshen Township with the latest on the investigation this evening. Sharifa.
Yeah, Christy, the investigation into macro began 10 days ago here at this YMCA, but investigators, they tell us that a search of his phone revealed inappropriate photos and videos dating back to July of 2024, all photos and videos that detectives say he admitted to taking and sharing. On Thursday, officers with the Westtown East Goshen Police Department were tasked with arresting one of their own brothers in blue, 52-year-old Mark Macro of Coatesville, Pennsylvania, and a part-time officer with the Millburn Borough Police Department is charged with unlawful contact and photography of minors. The criminal complaint released late Friday evening detailed the moments police were called to this YMCA on Airport Road in East Goshen Township July 23rd. Two young females, ages 13 and 14, reported they were being filmed while at the pool the day before. And according to the criminal complaint, when YMCA lifeguards approached the defendant and requested identification, he refused. However, he did show his badge and identify himself as a police officer. It didn't take long for officers to identify Macro, who denied taking any photos. But a search of—
That is crazy. The person meant to protect you, is meant to protect the civilians, right? Is out here filming kids being a predator. So you got to be careful. You got to watch your kids, right? Watch your surroundings, not just by those meant to protect the, protect by those around you, those that say I love you, those that say I care for you, man. Those be the first ones you have to be careful.
Of Macro's phone shows an estimated 11 different girls recorded or photographed dating back to 2024. In some images, the girls wearing bathing suits and Macro's Zoom allegedly focusing on their private areas. The youngest.
Yo, this mofo is sick. Like, yo, see, that's crazy because this is not the first time, right, that in the YMCA, like, people go to the YMCA, right, and they do this shit. You've got to be careful with your kids, yo. And this is what's crazy. This is an officer this time, police officer, caught and arrested for filming children in the YMCA. If this officer did this to your child, be honest with us, shorty. What would you do as a father, as a mother? Like, this mofo was zooming into little girls' private parts and taking pictures and filming. Y'all know what he was doing with that. He was uploading that shit to the dark web. We ain't stupid. We know what the fuck he doing. Kitty porn. Dirty fucking bastard.
Is believed to be around 8 years old. Investigators say 11 different girls recorded or photographed dating back to 2024. In some images, the girls wearing bathing suits and Macro's Zoom allegedly focusing on their private areas. The youngest is believed to be around 8 years old. Investigators say in a number of videos, Macro can be heard making sexual comments about the juveniles. Today, he faces charges of photographing a sexual act, stalking, unlawful contact with minors, and other related offenses. In a statement from the Melbourne Borough Police Department, a spokesperson says Macro was administratively suspended effective July 31st, while the criminal charges against him are pending.
That's wild.
Yeah, and Macro, he was arrested yesterday and released on a $100,000 bail. We're told that more charges potentially could be on the way. We're live from East Goshen Township. Sharifa Jackson for Action News at 10 on PHL 17. Chris.
Yo, that is wild. Like, what does accountability look like when the badges is used as a shield? I would love to hear your comments down below, right? Whether you're conversing with me in the chat, all right, or down below for those that are catching the replay, man. Let's get the discussion started. Like, I feel as though we need to demand independent oversight of law. We need to demand independent oversight of law enforcement. Push for community-led safety initiatives, all right? Like, we need to, our ancestors were watched, policed, and violated under the guise of order. They taught us to question authority and protect our own. Let's honor that legacy. How about that? Shit is wild, man. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, so we're gonna move into the fourth topic. All right, guys. Let me put the video on real quick.
A new drug.
All right. Woo-wee! So it seems like every year a new drug hits the market. All right. So this one has hit Pittsburgh. All right. Flisky drug epidemic. Right. Manufactured despair is what I call it. All right. Flisky isn't just a drug, it's a symptom of hopelessness, right? Of engineered addiction, of communities left to rot. Who profits from our pain? Right? Why are new drugs always tested on the poor before they're condemned? And what's crazy is these drugs always seem to hit the neighborhoods, right, that are considered neighborhoods of poverty. And who live in these neighborhoods the most?
A new drug has been making the rounds in our region, and officials are warning that it can be deadly. It's called Fly Sky, and our Chris DeRose has more on what the public needs to be on the lookout for.
Here in Fayette County over the last few days, there have been at least 2 overdose deaths from a drug called Fly Sky, and now officials want people to be aware that this drug is in the community. The drug Fly Sky, as it's sometimes labeled on bags sold on the street, is heroin laced with medetomidine, which is a tranquilizer used in veterinary medicine. Fayette County District Attorney Michael Abel says that users need to be aware that this drug can be lethal.
My understanding is that medetomidine is a drug that is not affected by Narcan. So if you overdose on medetomidine, Narcan is not going to save you.
That is crazy. So from the looks of it, this drug is worse than fentanyl. All right. At least with fentanyl, they could try to bring somebody back. But this drug right here that y'all see on the screen is worse. Why are lethal drugs like Flisky, right? And that's what I call it. I think it's called Fly Sky, my bad. But I call it Flisky. All right. Gaining traction despite known risks. I feel as though, right, they need to investigate the economic desperation, right, mental health crisis and lack of access to safe treatment that drives people to risk their lives. Advocate for community-based harm reduction programs, including safe injection sites and mental health outreach. And what I mean by that, right, like make sure that, how can I say it? And I don't mean safe injection sites like, safe houses, like they're trying to bring in, no. What I mean is, like, how can I say it? It's kind of like rehabilitation, right? But in that area, there shouldn't be no needles, right? No, nothing around these areas. They shouldn't be giving these needles out. That's why I'm against that shit, right? So that's why I put including safe injection sites. I'm not talking about what they're trying to do with like the safe houses. No. Safe injection sites means places there shouldn't be no needles nowhere in the streets. Needles shouldn't be given to them. Like the only place that a needle should be used, right, is in a house. If the only reason a needle should be used in a house is if somebody is going through diabetes or some shit like that. Other than that, no.
Says that anyone who may have a bag of this Fly Sky drug can turn it into authorities at several places in the county, including local police stations and the Crime Stoppers office. No questions asked. He also says that not only are local and state police working to get these drugs off the street, but that his office will prosecute those who are responsible for delivering these drugs into the community.
We want people to be safe. We want everybody to be alive and to be healthy. You just don't know what you're getting anymore on the street.
Now, not only is this drug popping up in Fayette County and the Pittsburgh area, but it's also being seen in places like Philadelphia and Chicago. We're going to have more information about this drug with this story on our website, kdka.com.
Oh, shit.
For now, reporting in Uniontown, Fayette County, Chris DeRose, KDKA TV News.
All right, we got some major change.
Damn, I hate when it takes forever to pause. These things be like real. Who profits from Fly Sky and why aren't they being held accountable? Right? How do we expose the supply chain from the street dealers to international traffickers and push for a policy to reform that targets distributors and manufacturers, not just users? All right. What does Fly Sky's resistance to Narcan reveal about your preparedness, right, for evolving drug threats? And I feel as though, listen, man, I feel as though they made something. They couldn't do it with the fentanyl. Now they got something stronger than fentanyl, right? So we need to demand investment in new overdose rehearsal agents in real-time drug monitoring systems, right? Educate first responders and communities on non-opioid tranquilizer risks, all right? And how does Fly Sky reflect the systemic neglect of marginalized communities? And I feel as though that the solution for that, we need to highlight how drug epidemics often hit low income and Black and brown neighborhoods hardest, mobilize for equitable health care, rehabilitation access, and community-led prevention efforts. All right, these are the things that we need to get done in our communities in order to help us with these types of things. Like, what role does media play in either amplifying or obscuring the Fly Sky crisis? And I feel as though it should help if we bring awareness, but it depends on who's bringing awareness, right? Because critique, sensationalized, right, coverage that stigmatizes users instead of informing the public is what we have, right? We need to create grassroots media that centers lived experiences and solutions. And is Fly Sky the next fentanyl or something even more dangerous? And I feel as though we need to compare chemical profiles, right? And overdose parents launch public awareness campaigns that demonstrate the drug and warn of its unique risks. All right. So let me deal with this little situation that I got going on out here real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, guys. All right, I'm back. Shit. Oh, I'm tired. I'm just tired. Ugh. All right, y'all. But yeah, I wanted to ask those questions and put that right there, out there for y'all. All right. Like, I'm so tired of hearing people make excuses for every little thing that's going on around us. What the hell is going on? Here we go. All right, so now we're going back to Philadelphia, all right? All right, SEPTA cuts and fare hikes, mobility as a privilege, all right? Transit is a lifeline, cutting service while raising fare is a message. If you're poor, stay put, all right? So apparently that is what SEPTA, right, according to the people, that is the message that people are getting from SEPTA, all right? So who gets to move freely in this city, and what happens when mobility becomes a luxury?
Changes that are coming for SEPTA riders. The transit agency passed a budget that cuts bus and rail lines and at the same time increases fares. Let's bring in NBC 10's Katie Zachary. She is live this morning at the Paoli-Thorndale Regional Rail Line with the important dates that you need to know. Morning, Katie.
That's right. That's what everyone is looking at when these cuts go into effect. So we are on the Paoli-Thorndale line right now. Here is a look at SEPTA's regional rail map. We're on the Paoli-Thorndale line. This is one of 5 regional rail lines set to be cut, as well as the Chestnut Hill West line going down to the Kinwood line, the Trenton line, and then south to the Newark line, taking passengers in and out of Delaware. Let's go to our video right now. We can tell you that it is not just regional rail affected under next year's budget that SEPTA board members approved on Thursday. It's trolleys, subways, and buses, 32 bus routes to be exact, that run from Columbus Ave to King Sussing will be eliminated later this summer. Then in September, fare increases kick in. Passengers will pay over 20% more to ride. And then in January, 5 regional rail lines, the ones we just outlined for you, will be eliminated. This is all to fix a $213 million.
That is wow. So they're gonna eliminate the routes, right? And then they're gonna raise the fare more than what they just raised it. But what's crazy is they just got funds not so long ago. Like they got thousands and thousands of dollars in funds not so long ago. They were just on strike not so long ago. I'm talking about it hasn't even been a year yet, I think. So where is all the money that, where does the money go that these places get funded? Where does the tax money go? Where does, what happens to, what? Well, I think we know.
Budget deficit. The transit agency by law has to pass a balanced budget by the start of their new fiscal year, which is July 1st. That's why this is all happening right now. Riders who were warned about these potential cuts months ago say they're surprised they're actually happening.
Buses already short as they are now, and now they want to go up on the prices too and cut the Route 12, and I ride that every day.
I guess my message is to our customers is we are still continuing the fight.
Back out here live on the Paoli-Thorndale line, we've already seen one train come through. Another one is set to come soon. You just heard from SEPTA's general manager, Scott Sauer. Again, without additional funding from state lawmakers in Harrisburg, and right now they are negotiating their new budget for next year. So a lot going on in Harrisburg. Without that additional new funding for transit, these cuts go into effect starting this summer. Reporting live in Paoli, Katie Zach.
I mean, summer almost ending. So you mean starting now? Because, dude, yeah, this was from last month. Dude, summer almost over. Like, y'all wilding right now, man. Like, yo, like, what happens? I'm gonna ask the question again: who gets to move freely in this city, and what happens when mobility becomes a luxury? You know what's crazy? Back then, kids used to have to listening to the stories from these OGs, from my old heads and everything, right? They used to have to walk in high snow, miles to school, like in heat and everything. So, man, look, listen, whatever they did worked for us to get all the things that we have nowadays. All right. So why not just organize rider coalitions, right? Demand fair equality and route restoration, push the community representation in transit decisions. Like, we keep forgetting our ancestors walked the miles to freedom, rode buses and protests and marched for access. Transit is not just transportation, it's liberation.
Only tonight, a war.
All right, so we're gonna move on. Right, next topic, because I know nobody's in the chat right now. So we moving right on. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna fly right through these topics. All right, guys. The next topic is we're gonna be hitting flesh-eating bacteria in Florida, environmental neglect. You know what this news clip reminds me of, right? Cabin fever, on some real shit. You imagine, you imagine getting into the water, right? And then out of nowhere, getting this flesh-eating bacteria that looks like you got the most disgusting herpes, or I don't know what the hell, gonorrhea type disease all over your body. Like, nature is responding to our neglect. Vibro volnificus, right, thrives where regulation fails and climate chaos reigns. All right. How many warnings will we ignore before nature fights back? And who's protecting our
As USF professor of medicine Dr. John Sinnott explains, the hurricanes greatly contributed to the unusually high number of cases and deaths because there was a lot more brackish water and standing water, which sat for days in some areas.
Counties were underwater. So that's a perfect area. Then you've got rescue personnel, people with housing belongings, not thinking, trying to save a pet, trying to save a relative. So they're not paying attention to what's happening to their feet and legs.
As Dr. Sinnott explains, when someone gets flesh-eating bacteria, it starts as a reddish rash or streak, typically up their leg. Within 12 to 36 hours, it can become extremely painful if not treated by doctors.
If you cut yourself in the water, the CDC and everyone recommends a good cleaning with soap and water. And I like to add a triple antibiotic ointment and make sure you look at it again in 12 hours.
Reporting in Tampa, Jordan Bowen, Fox 13 News.
Shit. I'm glad I got some good hygiene, man. Make sure y'all keep up with y'all hygiene, man. Especially if you're in Florida when you go into that beach, man, because that shit is wild, man. Flesh-eating bacteria, yo. It really reminds me of cabin fever. I wonder if cabin fever was a warning to people. Yo, man. Since, nobody's in the chat talking to a shorty, we're going to move on to the next topic, right? We got a mother charged with cruelty, systematic starvation, all right? Like a 14-year-old boy weighed 49 pounds. That's not just neglect. It's a cry from the shadows. But where was the system before the charge? Where was the system? Like, how do we identify suffering before it becomes a headline? And what support structure are failing families? Like, what does it take? What does it take for someone to sit here and hurt the hair out of their child's head? Why? You have to be so evil inside for you to harm a child's head. Like, to neglect a child like that. Listen to this.
A Hall County mother is accused of child cruelty. Her 14-year-old son was found weighing just 49 pounds. Channel 2's Brian Mims is live in Oakwood, where investigators say the woman claims she didn't even know her son needed to get to the hospital.
What?
Yes, the police report says she would have taken him herself had she known. She and the teen lived in this building behind me here at the Peaks of Oakwood's apartment complex. I spoke with one neighbor here who says this place abounds with children. I hear them playing now, and he says he wishes there was something more he could have done. The mother is 44-year-old Hashaba Yahuda. Oakwood police showed up at her apartment July 25th and found her and her 14-year-old son in a bedroom. He weighed only 49 pounds. Doctors say a typical boy that age weighs at least 84 pounds. I knocked on the apartment door, but nobody answered. Police say they received a call from a gastroenterologist's office asking them to check on the child. According to the arrest warrant, the doctor said lab tests showed he was in critical condition and needed to get to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta.
Wow. What is wrong with some parents, yo? Like, is this cruelty or a cry from a system that failed both mother and child? Like, shouldn't they investigate whether the family had prior contact with social services, and if so, why intervention failed? Advocate for trauma-informed care training for all child welfare workers. Push for community-based support systems that identify neglect early without criminalizing poverty. Where was child services at? Like, come on, somewhere along the line, this child was 14 years old, and you're telling me that no one noticed that he weighed 49 pounds? No one noticed that he weighed 41 pounds.
But the doctor said the mother was screening calls and would not answer multiple calls from the office or hospital. Paramedics ended up taking the 14-year-old to Children's. Kay Pass lives in the same building and says she had never seen Yehuda and the teen.
I'm just very shocked. I did not know. I haven't seen much of my neighbors, really. Everybody kind of keeps themselves here.
Police say Yehuda told them that she wanted to get his iron under control and take him to a hospital in Gainesville, not Children's. The incident report says when police told her he was going to Children's, she said, "If I knew I had to take him, I would have." Neighbor D.M. Willis, who doesn't know the family, says he regrets the community couldn't have done more to help the teen.
We have been hands-on with these kids, and it's very unfortunate and it's sad to hear that a 14-year-old was surrounded by the village, and the village did not warm this kid. It didn't feel the fire of the village.
That's some real shit, yo. Like, when a 14-year-old weighs 49 pounds, the system is starving too. This isn't just a story about a mother charged with cruelty. It's a mirror held up to a society that criminalizes suffering while ignoring the roots. All right? Like, what happens when poverty is mistaken for malice, right? We need to demand policy reform that distinguishes between willful neglect and systematic deprivation. Create emergency care access programs for families in crisis. No insurance, no questions asked. Fund mobile health units in underserved neighborhoods to catch cases before they escalate. Why do we punish mothers before asking what broke them, right? Like, what is the solution for that? A 14-year-old, listen, this mother, yes, she needs to be punished, but the crazy part about it is, right, nobody knows what happened. Is this mental health? Is this a cry for help? You see where I'm coming from? Like, do we blame the system in full, or do people have to also start taking accountability? And I feel as though it's a combination of both. All right. A 14-year-old boy, barely 49 pounds. That's not just neglect. That's a slow, silent scream that no one answered. Before we point fingers, we need to ask, where were the schools, the doctors, the neighbors? What trauma did this mother carry? What resources did she lack? Why do we punish poverty instead of healing it? This case isn't isolated. It's a symptom of a system that waits until children are broken to intervene. We need trauma-informed care. We need community accountability. We need to stop confusing cruelty with collapse. Justice isn't just about charges. It's about change. If you feel this, share it, speak on it, build with it, because silence is complicity and awareness is the first act of resistance. All right. And me, I feel as though, right, that this mother needs to be punished. Yes. Right. But before we give her a punishment, we need to find out what's going on. Is she suffering from mental health? How did the system let this go on for 14 years? How did nobody notice that this mother was not feeding her child and taking care of her child? How in the world does a 14-year-old make it to 50 pounds only? 49 pounds is what this child weighed. 49 pounds. Like, how do we weigh a child suffering against a mother's silence? What does justice look like when everyone involved is already broken? I want y'all to see this again. Why is it not going back? No interruptions, no nothing. And then I'm
A Hall County mother is accused of child cruelty. Her 14-year-old son was found weighing just 49 pounds. Channel 2's Brian Mims is live in Oakwood, where investigators say the woman claims she didn't even know her son needed to get to the hospital.
Yes, the police report says she would have taken him herself had she known. She and the teen lived in this building behind me here at the Peaks of Oakwoods apartment complex. I spoke with one neighbor here who says this place abounds with children. I hear them playing now, and he says he wishes there was something more he could have done. The mother is 44-year-old Hashaba Yahuda. Oakwood police showed up at her apartment July 25th and found her and her 14-year-old son in a bedroom. He weighed only 49 pounds. Doctors say a typical boy that age weighs at least 84 pounds. I knocked on the apartment door, but nobody answered. Police say they received a call from a gastroenterologist's office asking them to check on the child. According to the arrest warrant, the doctor said lab tests showed he was in critical condition and needed to get to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. But the doctor said the mother was screening calls and would not answer multiple calls from the office or hospital. Paramedics ended up taking the 14-year-old to Children's. Kay Pass lives in the same building and says she had never seen Yahuda and the teen.
I'm just very shocked. I did not know. I haven't seen much of my neighbors, really. Everybody kind of keeps to themselves here.
Police say Yahuda told them that she wanted to get his iron under control and take him to a hospital in Gainesville, not Children's. The incident report says when police told her he was going to Children's, she said, "If I knew I had to take him, I would have." Neighbor D.M. Willis, who doesn't know the family, says he regrets the community couldn't have done more to help the teen.
We have been hands-on with these kids, and it's very unfortunate and sad to hear that a 14-year-old was surrounded by the village, and the village did not warm this kid. It didn't feel the fire of the village.
And that's a fact. Like, is this lazy parenting or a mind in crisis? All right, we're talking about a 14-year-old boy, 49 pounds, no hospital visit, no help. We're quick to say parents have gotten lazy, but what if it's deeper than that, right? What if this mother wasn't just neglectful? What if she was drowning? Could she be battling demons she can't name? Could untreated mental illness have numbed her to reality? Could trauma have rewired her instincts until survival felt like silence? This isn't about excusing harm, all right? It's about exposing the layers beneath it. Because when we only see the surface, lazy, cruel, unfit, we miss the systems that let her fall. All right, where's the mental health support for struggling parents? Where's the community safety net before neglect becomes tragedy? Where's the compassion that sees brokenness before it breaks a child? We need accountability, but we also need empathy. All right, if we want to protect children, we have to heal the parents too. This case isn't just a headline, it's a warning. Neglect starts in the shadows. Awareness brings light. Share this, speak on it. Ask the hard questions, because silence won't save the next child. There's so much going on, man. We need to get it together, guys. That's all the time that I got, man. I'm not gonna be on this, John, talking to myself. All right. I wanted to bring awareness on these topics. All right. Like, I'm hoping that y'all, understood where I'm coming from and what I'm trying to do with this live. All right. And in closing, right, we don't just survive. We watch, we speak, we rise. All right. Tonight, we didn't just talk about potholes, predators, poisoned water, or broken systems, right? We talked about patterns that keep repeating because silence keeps winning, but not here, not with us. We saw a city that patches streets but not wounds. We saw children exposed to trauma while the world scrolls past. We saw a drug creeping through our communities like a thief in the night. We saw a transit system that tells the poor to stay put. We saw bacteria eating flesh in a system that eats souls. And we saw a child weighing 49 pounds whose pain was invisible until it became charged. All right. But we also saw something else. We saw our ancestors in every crack, every headline, every injustice. We saw ones who built, resisted, and protected without applause, without rest. They didn't survive for us to be numb. They survived, all right, so that They didn't survive for us to be numb. They survived so that we could be loud. So let this be the moment we stop asking for permission to care. Let this be the moment we stop waiting for systems to save us. Let this be the moment we remember who we come from and who we're fighting from. We are the watchers now, and we don't just survive. We speak, we protect, and we rise. All right. So with that being said, till next time, this is your shorty Rachel. I hope all of y'all have a blessed and humble day. Continue to have a blessed and humble morning.